Okay, we are going to talk today about how to get the most out of your workouts. And I think this is the single most impactful shift that you can make in how you train. So we're going to go over how to get the most out of your workouts, how you can train with purpose, build muscle, change your body. And we don't want you guys spinning your wheels anymore. So this is not about working harder in like a beat yourself up type of way, where you're coming out dripping with sweat. It's more about working with purpose and intention and getting your workouts to do what they're supposed to do, which is building muscle, right? So the way we need to train, it changes as we age, as most of you have probably noticed. And a lot of women that we see are missing some key pieces. So we want to talk about those and make sure that you're not one of them. Okay, so let's start with the big picture because building muscle is, in my opinion, the most important thing that you can do for your body when we're over 40. It's not about burning fat or getting a lower number on the scale. Here's why muscle is magic for your body right now. So first is metabolism. Muscle tissue is metabolically active. You might have heard us say this before, but it burns calories just by having it on your body. So the more muscle you have on your body, the more calories you're going to burn, even when you're sleeping or sitting around. Muscle is burning calories 24/7, which is really, really cool. The second thing is your strength and independence, which is huge. A lot of you have already talked to me about this, but the strength that you're building right now is what determines whether you're going to be carrying your own groceries in, or getting up off the floor easily, or staying independent into those old lady years. And I think most of us are just way past looking good for the summer, and we want that quality of life for the next 40 or more years. And then the third thing is bone and hormone health. As we go through, perimenopause and menopause, our bodies go through major hormonal shifts, and those are going to directly impact our bone density, our muscle mass. And so resistance training, like you guys are doing here, is the most powerful tool that we have to protect against those things. So strength training is not optional. It should be a non-negotiable for you from here on out. So if muscle is the goal, then the next question is how do we make sure that your workouts are actually building it? Because, you could show up to the gym and do workouts 4 days a week or 6 days a week even, and maybe you're getting sweaty, your heart rate is getting up, but just feeling tired and feeling sweaty is not necessarily building muscle if you're missing these key pieces. So these are the four things that we want you guys doing every single week. Number one is progressive overload, which, as we know, is lifting weight that is challenging for you, challenging enough to stimulate muscle growth. Number two is form check videos. So sending us at least one video weekly so we can make sure that you're doing the exercises safely, but also effectively. Number three is rest time. So you're giving your body the rest that it needs, letting your muscles recover in between sets. And then the fourth one is slow and controlled movements. So we're thinking quality over speed for every single rep. And we're going to break each one of these down. Okay, so number one key here, progressive overload. We talk about this a lot, but I'm going to give you a little refresher here. So your muscles only grow when you give them a reason to grow. Your body is insanely efficient. It will adapt to whatever we throw at it. So if you lift the same weight for the same reps, month after month after month, your body has already adapted to that stimulus and it has no reason to build more muscle because you haven't asked it to by increasing the challenge. And this is probably the single most, uh, what am I trying to say? It's the biggest thing that I see women slacking on in the gym, or maybe they don't know, but they're just like going through the motions and doing their workout with the same, 10-pound dumbbells. 6 months down the road, they're still doing the same ones and nothing's changing. Nothing is progressing. So we have to be progressing the workouts or we're not going to build that muscle. So I want you guys to increase one of these four things over time. Number one is weight. Literally just adding more weight to the bar or using heavier dumbbells. That's an easy one. Second one is reps. So doing more repetitions with the same weight. Number three is range of motion. That could be going deeper into the squat, getting a fuller stretch at the bottom of a movement. And that's one that a lot of people don't realize. You don't always have to keep increasing the weights or the reps. You can progressively overload just by getting a bigger range of motion. And then the fourth one is time under tension. So just slowing down your tempo, holding the contraction longer. If you're putting that challenge on your muscle for a longer period of time, in other words, instead of going up one, down one, you could go up two, down three. Your muscle is under tension for a longer period of time. So you don't need to increase all four of these at once. You can pick one and progress it and then move to the next. And this is literally the mechanism that tells your body, hey, we need more muscle in order to handle this challenge. So if you haven't already, go back and watch the training that we did on progressive overload because it goes a lot deeper into these things. So if you're new, super, super valuable training. But the big takeaway for right now today is if you're not progressing, then you're not building. Okay. Key number two is form check videos. So starting right now, if you're not doing this already, I want you to send us at least one form check video every single week. And we know this can feel really vulnerable. We're watching your form, we're critiquing you. It does not feel negative though. We're never going to come at you in a judgy way or pick you apart. We want you to feel confident and successful here. Or, maybe you're working out at the gym and you feel weird about using your camera and filming yourself. It is not weird. People do it all the time, and it is so, so helpful. I cannot emphasize enough how important these form check videos are. So if you're not sure which exercises to send in, these are the four most difficult or complex ones. Bench press, either barbell or dumbbell, squat of any kind, and then deadlift or RDL. And we don't want you to just send in one video and then be done with it and never do it again. The process works like this. You send in the video, we review it and give you feedback, and then you apply the feedback and send that in again so that we can confirm that you've made the proper adjustment, and then we can give you even more things to work on. So it's not a one and done thing. It's an ongoing conversation about your form, and as you get stronger and the weights are getting heavier, I want you to think of it like this. An Olympic athlete, they are like the best of the best, right? And they still have a coach, right? They have a coach because there's always something to work on. So lean into these form check videos. These matter because number one, safety first. These are the big, heavy compound lifts, the bench, the squat, and the deadlift. So bad form on these is how you're going to get injured. So we want to catch any small issues before they become big problems and we start getting heavier and heavier. Second reason is effectiveness because you would be amazed how one small tweak, like shifting where your hips are or adjusting your bar path, those little things can be the difference between a lift that's actually building muscle and one that's just throwing weight around. And then the third thing is confidence. So this is my personal favorite part. I know this was my experience when I finally started working with a coach that was doing these form check videos with me. I started to gain confidence because once you know that your form is dialed in, you will start to push yourself even harder. You like stop second guessing your reps and you just like walk into the lift with confidence. And so that alone is going to change how effective your training is. So don't skip this one video a week minimum, or you can do more every single week on one of these three lifts or any other lifts that you might need help with. Okay, key number three is rest time. And this one usually surprises most people. So don't blow through your rest time between sets. I know that sometimes you're feeling rushed, the rest time can feel very unproductive, but we're not trying to keep your heart rate up. We're not trying to rush the rest because you're leaving progress on the table when you do that. It actually makes your workouts less effective. And I'm going to explain why. So your muscles use a fuel source called ATP to produce power and to contract your muscles. And when you go to failure, all of that ATP is used up and that takes time to replenish. So on those heavy compound lifts, like I just mentioned, the bench squat deadlift, 2 to 3 minutes is how long it could take to fully replenish your energy. And if you cut your rest time short, you're not going to be fully recovered, which means you end up lifting lighter in your next set. And lighter weight means that you're getting less stimulus, which means less muscle growth. So you're literally undoing that progressive overload in key number one that we just talked about. So do not rush through the rest time. These are some just general guidelines, and we obviously prescribe your rest time in the app, but take that rest time that we give you. So for the heavy compound lifts, like I said, 2 to 3 minutes. For accessory work or isolation work like bicep curls or lateral raises, 60 to 90 seconds is usually good. But the biggest gauge is that you can rest until you feel ready to hit that same effort again. So not just until you've caught your breath, but until you feel like you can go fully in on that next set. Okay. We're not doing cardio. So the rest is part of the workout. Okay, key number 4, slow and controlled movements and taking these movements to failure. Part one of this, slow and controlled. So here's a little tidbit that I heard that I think is really something good that can stick with you. Momentum is the enemy of muscle growth. So when you're swinging the weight, or if you're bouncing out of the bottom of that squat, or you're just rushing through the reps just so you get it done, your muscle is doing less work because that momentum is doing the work for you. So you might get the rep completed, but you're not getting that muscle building benefit. So we really want to slow down, focus on control, especially with that lowering phase. So don't just drop the weight down. You know, if you're doing, let's just say a shoulder press and you push up, don't just let it fall down. Control it down. You're getting just as much work on the down as you are on the up. So don't drop the weight, pause at the bottom, and then get that full stretch. Oops, sorry, someone's coming in here. Okay, so we don't want to jerk or swing. We really want to try to feel the target muscle working with every single rep. And that's called mind-muscle connection. So if you're not sure what muscle you might be working in a certain exercise, just ask us. That's what we're here for. You can think about the muscle that you're contracting and make it work harder just by thinking about it and squeezing it. And then failure. What does it mean to go to failure? We want you pushing your sets close to or all the way to the point where you truly can't complete another rep with good form. And another reason why we send those form checks in, because we can tell when you get to your last rep, oh, you still had some gas left in the tank there, right? So that's not the same thing as just doing 3 sets of 10 and being done, just because that's the number you have in your program. It's about actually challenging your muscle and going till you literally can't do any more. Okay. Those last few hard reps, those are the ones where you're really pushing. That's where the growth signal happens in your muscle. So if you're skipping that, you're missing the best part of the exercise. You got to give your body a reason to adapt. Okay, so these are just a couple other little things that I want to mention that we see women missing. And that number one is protein around your training. So your body is going to need some raw materials to actually build the muscle that you're working for. And so if your protein intake is low, you can do all the other things right, and you're still not going to be building muscle. So make sure you're prioritizing your protein, especially around your workouts. A warm up. We want to make sure that we are doing a decent warm up because as we age, our joints and our tendons need more prep time before we load them up. This is so important. We do not want any injuries here. So take 5 to 10 minutes of think about it as like ramping up. It's not wasted time. That is saving you so much. So you're going to protect your joints and your tendons from injury, and you're going to actually improve your performance in those working sets. So Think about when you are just coming into a workout, if you haven't done any type of warm up or movement, it's like a cold rubber band, right? It can just snap your tendons or your joints, your ligaments, your muscles. You want to just get them warmed up, get the blood flowing, and they become more pliable. So make sure that we're warming up. Sleep and recovery. This is something that can be hard in peri and postmenopause, but we want to do our best and practice some sleep hygiene. We also have a training video on that if you're struggling with sleep. But muscle isn't built in the gym, it's built during your recovery while you sleep. So if you're not sleeping enough, again, you are leaving some results on the table. So try to get 7 to 8 hours if you can. And then the last one is consistency over intensity. Sometimes we see people will miss a workout and then they'll try to make up for it by going harder. And we don't need to do that because consistency is what is going to change your body over time. We don't want you trying to, go in super, super intense, getting sweaty and again, hurting yourself or not getting the most out of your workout. So consistency over intensity. And here are the action items that we want you guys to start doing with your very next workout tomorrow. Number one, review your previous lifts and apply progressive overload every single week. So increase your weight, your reps, your range of motion, or your time under tension. And use that history button in the app. Sometimes you might, like, let's just say this week you had a less than stellar workout because didn't get enough sleep or you were just burnout for whatever reason and you had lower reps and weights than you normally do, but maybe the week before you were higher. So don't just go off what you put in last week. Go back into your history and really get a look at where you're at and what you've been doing so that you can continue to challenge yourself. Number two, send us a minimum of one form check every single week, bench squat, deadlift, or RDL in particular. Apply your feedback and then send it in again the next week. Number three, take the full prescribed rest between sets and 2 to 3 minutes for those heavy, heavy lifts. Number four, slow down every single rep and push your sets close to failure. The eccentric portion, make sure that you're controlling that as well because the last hard reps are where the growth happens. And then remember what we talked about in the very beginning is muscle is magic. It's the key to changing your body right now, but also in the future. So train like it matters because it does.